KCYP 97.7 FM. Thank you for joining us. We want to welcome everyone who's listening to us live right now over 97.7 FM, as well as on our website, thecity977.com, or on our radio TuneIn radio app, keyword thecity977, as well as everyone joining us over Facebook Live. Hello, everyone. And over YouTube Live. We have someone very special in the studio today. We have Kathleen Stevens from the Rio Grande Valley Geocachers. Welcome to the studio today, ma'am.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, she reached out to us with a very, very interesting proposition and story. And I said, I just have to, have this lady come and talk to us. And what better time than during our radio, television, and film class? We have our students in the audience. And they're going to be asking some questions in a bit, but it's an excellent opportunity for them to learn about geotagging. So please, ma'am, tell us, what is geotagging all about?
Geocaching.
Oh, I'm sorry, geocaching. I'm so sorry.
Geo stands for geography. Caching is a hidden container. Okay, so geocaching is hiding containers somewhere in our world, and then there's a website, geocaching.com. You join, it's free. You create a geocaching name. You hide a cache, you take its coordinates, which is north this, west that, and put it on the website with a little story, and then another geocacher downloads it and goes out and finds it, signs their name to the log, puts it back for the next geocacher. And that's basically geocaching, but there's a lot of different types of geocaching. And what I reached out to you about is called an adventure lab, which that's one that is new. It's one of the newest ones that they've started letting us create, and it takes you to places where you can learn about them and answer questions about them, but there's no hidden object.
Now, I know you brought some items in the studio to share with our viewers and with our students here in the studio. What do you have for us today?
Well, first I brought a little display board that would let them read about geocaching and the different types of geocaches, and I showed them examples of items that are called trackables and a path tag, and then samples of types of geocache containers. This up here is an ammo can, which a lot of geocachers use ammo cans for regular geocache hides. They hold lots of what we call swag stuff, what everybody gets. Okay, and it's just tradable things. If you take something out, you put something back. Then a geocache can be a little container like this with a magnet on it. And you stick it to something magnetic and it just hangs there. It can be something a little bigger, such as this, that you'll hide in a tree or attached to a fence somewhere, but you're always supposed to get permission from the property owner. Then this can be a geocache, and it can hang. If they're not seeing them, let me know. And then we have this little guy here called a Slim Jim. People find it and think, oh, it's just a wad of tape. But it's actually a Ziploc baggie that opens up, and inside is the log that you sign. This also is a geocache, just to let the students know that geocaches can come in every possible, if your imagination can think of it, you can make it into a geocache. For geocaching, you need either a handheld GPS unit or your good old handy smartphone and a geocaching app that shows you all the geocaches in your area. Okay, so did I answer the question?
Yes, ma'am. Now, is there a particular app that you recommend, a particular kind of geo caching?
There are several apps out there that are free. I actually use the official geocaching app by geocaching.com because it connects to the website, but there are others. There's one called Cachly that a lot of people like, that you have to pay for it, but there's free ones that'll still get you out there to find the caches. It's just whether they connect to the geocaching website and let you upload your stuff from out in the field, and you don't have to wait until you have an internet access to get it.
So now, if someone wants to get started in geocaching, how can they do that? What's the first step?
First step is to go to geocaching.com. www.geocaching.com and create an account. It's free. They do ask that you be at least 18 unless you have a parent or guardian that's creating the account for you. And you have to have an email address that's connected to the account. And you can only have one account on a single email address. If you want a premium account, that's $30 a year, and it gives you some extra little perks on the app as well as on the caches. There's some caches that are premium only, and you have to have a premium account to be able to log them. You can find them, but you can't log them.
So then we've got our account, or we have our parents sign
Okay.
us up for an account. What is the next step after that?
The next step is to go find a cache. Okay, and if you have the app, you can put in your personal address in the search, and it'll come up and it'll show you all the geocaches within a 10-mile radius of you. Or you can put your zip code in, and it starts from the main mailbox, main post office of that zip code, and it'll show you all the geocaches within 10-mile radius. And you would be amazed at how many geocaches there are.
And so once we find a geocache near our area, what are some of the protocols? What are some of the rules of geocaching?
Okay, some of the main rules of geocaching. Number one is be respectful of the area and always mindful of what's going on around you. Be stealthy. You're not supposed to give away where the cache is hidden to non-geocache people that we call geo-muggles, or muggles for short. You know where we got that, right? From Harry Potter. Anyway, geocaches are rated by their difficulty and their terrain level from a 1 to a 5. So a 1-1 is a geocache that someone in a wheelchair can go and get. So we do try to have caches out there for people who have disabilities can still get them. A 5-5 means you're going to be probably climbing up a tree or using some real special equipment to get it. I got a 5-5 once called No Ladders Allowed. He put it up under a bridge over a creek, and he wanted you to rappel off the side of the bridge to get it. We ran a PVC pipe up with an iPhone on it, found where the cache was, scraped it down to the ground, signed it, put it back up, and our feet never left the ground. He was not happy with us. We said, well, you said no ladders allowed. And we did not use a ladder. So you have to be creative in your hides. You have to be creative and stay safe. If you hide a cache, you're supposed to get permission from the property owner to put it so they know that it's there. There are certain places you cannot put physical geocaches in national parks. The Texas state parks and a lot of other state parks allow caches, but you have to get them approved by them, or they put their own out. City parks are a good place to put them, but again, you get in touch with the city parks department and you get permission to put your cache out there. So
fantastic. Okay, now we're going to take some questions from our live studio audience. Who wants to come first? Remember, you'll come and use this microphone right here. Okay, just go ahead.
Is this a job of yours, or is it a hobby of some sort?
it's a hobby. Geocaching has been around since May of 2000, after President Clinton took the ban off of public access to the satellites. Geocaching was born just almost instantly, with the first cache being hidden out in Oregon. So geocaching is now almost 22 years old. I've been caching since November of 2004. But it's a hobby. It gets you out into the outdoors, hiking, riding bikes, things like that. Even some caches you need a kayak or a boat to get to them. So it's just a great way to break up a road trip. It's a great hobby, and families can enjoy it together.
What inspired you to start geocaching?
I was working at a middle school in Carrollton, Texas, and myself and another teacher there went for some staff development on geographic information systems. And when we completed the training, we got the geographic information software. And when we went to a conference, we learned about geocaching. So we started a GIS club, and we had 5 students in our club, and we taught them how to use handheld GPS by going geocaching, and then they used the software, and we worked with one of the city planners, and we planned a walking trail for the city of Carrollton. We created a presentation. Oh, and by the way, one of our students in our club was in a wheelchair, but we planned a walking trail and we presented it to the city, and they accepted our presentation and asked us to be consultants, and they have actually built that walking trail in Carrollton. And that's when geocaching started for us. So we went to a little breakout session at a conference, and they taught us about it.
Excellent. Any other questions from the audience?
Has there been any difficult caches that you have found?
Yes.
Can you?
I've, because of my height and my age now, a lot of caches are difficult for me, but I try to find a ways around them. The last time I climbed a tree to get a geocache was in June of 2020 when I was 69, but I only climbed up to the first branch. But my kids didn't know until they see this that I did it. But a lot of times I will have to have another geocacher with me who has more height or more agility than I have. But I think the one no ladders allowed was my most unique, difficult one.
Down here in the go ahead, go right ahead.
How many geocaches have you found?
I am about 23 caches away from finding 6,000 caches. And my goal is to find the oldest geocache in Oklahoma when I'm up there for Thanksgiving with my kids for my number 6,000. Actually, I'm going to try to talk them into taking me up to Mingo, Kansas, because that's where the oldest geocache that's still active, and it was put out in May 11th of 2000. It's geocache number 30, but it was the first in Kansas, and it's the oldest geocache in the world. And I would like that to be my number 6,000, but I'll settle for Oklahoma's oldest.
They must have a lot of signatures.
Yes, they actually have a monument now there where that cache is.
Oh, that's cool.
Come on out.
How many are there here in the valley?
Oh, goodness. I'll tell you what, it's the total number I could not give you off the top of my head right now. But if I bring up the app and you hold that up, that's just zoomed into where we are. The yellow smiley faces are the ones I've found.
Oh, wow.
And you can zoom in to see more area. You can zoom out to see more area, zoom in to see closer. I have now hid 52 caches, and of the 52, 49 of them are down here in the valley. Geocacher from Iowa has the most hides down here in the valley. I actually have as of March, a stat display board, but I loaned it out to somebody on the Rio Grande Valley geocaches. But there's a lot. There's millions of geocachers and millions of geocaches.
Wow.
In the world. I recently...
So it's not...
No, yeah, go ahead.
It's not just in the U.S.?
No, it's worldwide. I found a geocache in the Caribbean islands. I found a geocache in Mexico. Those are my only outside the United States finds. But I have been in touch with geocachers in South Africa, Australia, Germany. I recently found a trackable, which is a geocache item that travels from cache to cache, that belonged to a geocacher in Germany, and it had a mission and was supposed to get back to him in 2020, and it didn't make it. And so I reached out to him through geocaching, because you can message, and told him I had it. And so I mailed it to him, and as a thank you, he put a trackable out in my name in Germany and then adopted it out to me. So I accepted the adoption papers, so it's in my name now, and it's traveling all over Germany. and it's gotten over 11,000 miles in Germany traveling. So
Wow.
yeah, it's
That's interesting.
everywhere you go, you can make friends geocaching.
Wow.
And the typical age of a geocacher may vary.
Definitely. I've had friends who have given their babies geocaching names and put them in their carry pack and taken them around with them. I have friends who are in their 80s that are still geocaching, and it's fun for all ages. It's puzzles. It's all about puzzles, and finding things that are hidden. And if you enjoy that kind of stuff and you enjoy the outdoors, you would enjoy it. The Rio Grande Valley geocachers meet on Thursday mornings for breakfast, just to meet, greet, have fun. We help each other solve puzzle caches, which that's where you have to solve some kind of puzzle to get the coordinates. There's a type of geocache called a siddle, which is cash in, trash out, and that's a community service geocache. We go to roadways or city parks, at playgrounds, and we clean them up. And we have one planned for November 6th at Fireman's Park from 10 to noon. If anybody wants to come and see us clean up Fireman's Park or help us, you're more than welcome. So,
Fantastic. That sounds very interesting. Any other questions from our studio audience?
Yeah, I have one more.
Come on in.
So the one that was in Germany, that like when did that start? Like when?
that travel, it's been going around since August, maybe. I can actually
August of this year.
August of this year. Let's see. I
That's
can actually bring up the page on it that I have. Gotta get him here.
And it's already traveled over 11,000 miles.
It's already traveled over 11,000.
Wow.
Okay, let's refresh him. Come on. There's a geocache travel bug race going on right now. And I have a travel bug in the race. And a friend of mine from Idaho, geocacher, I brought her travel bug to Texas to get it moving. And we're staying neck and neck with each other. But mine's running about 8th place out of about 50 travel bugs in the race. But yeah, this is, and I don't know if you can hold it up if you want them to see it, but it's called a community volunteer travel bug. And can you see how many miles it has?
Where does it say?
Okay, right down here, 11,630 miles,
Wow.
0.5 miles. And you can click on view map.
Oh, and it says where they took it to.
Yes, it tells you each place they've stopped with it. And if you view the map, come on. Phone, oh, it's running slow in here because I'm not on Wi-Fi in here. Anyway, the map will come up and show you.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it tells you that he was released on, oops, there's the map.
Okay.
Now it comes up now. We don't want it. Actually, it was released in May
Okay.
of this year. So a little earlier than I remembered. But
Fantastic. So if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Kathleen Stevens from the Rio Grande Valley Geocachers. And you mentioned a website that they can go to. What's geocache.com?
geocaching.
Geocaching.com.
Yeah.
Geocaching.com. Excellent. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to add to the interview?
Scouting offers a geocaching badge. And I found a travel bug down here in a travel bug hotel that had been here in the hotel for 2 years, belonged to a young man up in Iowa. And I mailed it up to him, and he's so excited because he's now getting ready to get his Eagle Scout award. And so he can put his travel bug on that and tell its story. So there's organizations out there that are supportive of geocaching and teach people about it.
Fantastic. Is there a website or a Facebook account that our listeners can reach out if they're interested in geotagging?
Basically, the best thing to do is just go to geocaching.com. They have videos on there and stuff to teach you about it. If you're wanting to connect with somebody down here in the valley, we do have a Facebook page, Rio Grande Valley Geocachers, but it's a private page. You can see it, but you can't. You have to request. Membership. But
That's probably the best way. They can just simply request if they're interested.
well, and they need to get an account. I mean, that's the first step. Get an account, learn about it. You can look for events, and a good way to connect with the geocachers in your area is to look and see if there's an event being held and go to that and connect with them, because geocachers are ready to help new people because they want you to be successful. They want you to enjoy the game as much as they do.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. Thank you once again for making the time to come out and speak to our students and our viewers and our listeners from 97.7 FM. We hope to invite you again whenever you want to come back and tell us a little more, maybe of the new project you were talking about it's called Adventure.
It's an adventure lab, and we're hoping to do the adventure lab on the McAllen Arts District.
Fantastic. And we'll bring you more information on that, and we'll bring Mrs. Kathleen Stevens out here to tell us more about that.
Thank you.
Thanks again, and keep listening to 97.7 FM, The City.